I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I have made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I have learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. So in this video, I want to talk about something that honestly took me years to get right, and that is my morning routine. Look, I know the word routine sounds boring. It sounds like something your mom told you to do when you were a kid, or something that these crazy influencers talk about who wake up at 4 a.m. and drink kale smoothies and run 10 miles before the sun comes up. That is not me. I am not that guy. I am a normal dude who used to wake up 20 minutes before I had to be at work. I would roll out of bed, brush my teeth, throw on whatever shirt was clean, grab a granola bar, and sprint out the door. And every single day I would show up to work already stressed out, already feeling behind, already in a bad mood. And I just accepted that as normal. I thought that is just how mornings are. You wake up, you rush, you feel crappy, and then you power through the day. But over the past 4 or 5 years, I have slowly developed some morning habits that have completely changed the game for me. And I want to share them with you because I think if you are in your 20s and you feel like your life is kind of chaotic and you do not have control over anything, this is where you start. You start with your mornings. All right, so the first thing, and I think this is the most important thing I have learned about mornings, is the idea of having a buffer period. This is the foundation of everything else I am going to talk about. The idea is simple. From the moment you wake up to the moment you have your first obligation of the day, whether that is work, school, taking care of your kids, whatever, there should be at least 1 hour of buffer time. Let me tell you why this matters. For years, I was the guy who would set my alarm for 7:50 a.m. because I had to be at work at 8 a.m. I thought I was being smart by maximizing my sleep, but what actually happened was I would wake up already panicked, my brain would go into crisis mode immediately, I would be scrambling to find socks trying to remember if I had packed lunch the night before, probably not, and I would rush out the door with my heart pounding, already stressed before my day even started, and that stress would carry with me for hours. I would be at my desk at 9 a.m., still feeling frazzled, still not fully awake, still reacting to everything instead of being proactive. That is a terrible way to live. So I made a change. Now, no matter what I have going on, I make sure I have at least 1 hour between waking up and my first responsibility. That hour is mine. It is my time. I use it to wake up slowly, to ease into the day, to take care of myself before I have to take care of anyone or anything else. And let me tell you, it makes a massive difference when you have that buffer. You are not reactive, you are proactive. You are not starting your day from a place of panic, you are starting from a place of calm. And that sets the tone for everything that follows. All right, so the second habit, and this one was hard for me to learn, is to wake up at the same time every single day, regardless of what time you went to sleep. The night before, I know this sounds counterintuitive. A lot of people think, oh, if I go to bed late, I should sleep in to catch up. But I have learned the hard way that that strategy backfires. For like 2 years of my life, I would set a timer for 8 hours from when my head hit the pillow. So if I went to bed at midnight, I would set my alarm for 8 a.m. If I went to bed at 2 a.m., I would set it for 10 a.m. And I thought this was smart because I was getting 8 hours of sleep every night. But here is the problem. My body never knew when it was supposed to wake up. Some days I was getting up at 8, other days at 9, other days at 10, and my internal clock was completely confused. I was tired all the time. I could not figure out why. Then I started traveling a lot for work, going to Europe, going to Asia, different time zones, and I realized something important. Your body has a natural internal clock. That clock is powerful. When you travel to a different time zone, your body does not just adjust instantly. It takes days. And the same thing happens when you shift your wake-up time by 2 or 3 hours every day. You are basically putting your body through jet lag over and over again. So I switched my approach. Now I wake up at the same time every morning no matter what. Even on weekends, even on days when I went to bed late. If I only got 5 hours of sleep, I still wake up at my set time, and you know what happens. I might be a little tired that day, but then the next night I naturally go to bed earlier because my body is tired, and over time my internal clock has become rock solid. I barely even need an alarm anymore. I just wake up naturally at the same time every morning. That consistency has been huge for my energy levels and my overall mood. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but Reed, I have a crazy schedule. I work night shifts or I have a baby that wakes me up at different times. Look, I get it. Life is messy. Not everyone can have a perfect, consistent schedule. But if you can try to get as close to a consistent wake-up time as possible, even within a 30-minute window, it will help. Your body craves routine. Give it as much consistency as you can. All right, moving on to habit number 3, and this one sounds so simple that I almost hesitated to include it, but I am including it because I know for a fact that most of you are not doing it. And that habit is making your bed every morning. Let me explain. In college, I never made my bed. I would wake up, crawl out of the tangled sheets, and just leave them there. My room was always a mess, clothes on the floor, empty water bottles on the desk, papers everywhere, and I thought it did not matter because it was just my space. But over time, I realized something. When my physical space was cluttered and disorganized, my mind felt cluttered and disorganized too. I could not focus as well. I felt more anxious. There was this low-level chaos in my environment that was affecting my mental state, so I started making my bed every morning. It takes 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds. I wake up, I stand up, I pull the sheets straight, I put the pillows in place and done, and that one tiny act of order at the start of my day sets a precedent. It is like telling my brain, hey, we are organized today. We are in control. We are not living in chaos. And that feeling carries over into everything else I do. There is a reason the military makes soldiers do this. It is not because they care about how the bed looks. It is about discipline and order and starting the day with a small win. You accomplish one thing right away in the morning, and that momentum carries forward. So make your bed. It takes 30 seconds. Just do it. All right, habit number 4, and this is one that I truly believe is life-changing. Drink a big glass of water as soon as you wake up. I know this sounds obvious, but I promise you most people do not do it. I see my friends all the time they wake up, and the first thing they put in their body is coffee. And I love coffee as much as the next guy, but coffee is dehydrating. And when you wake up in the morning, your body is already dehydrated. Think about it. You just slept for 7 or 8 hours. During that time, you were breathing all night long, and every time you exhale, you lose moisture. You are not drinking any water. Your body has been running on empty for hours. So when you wake up, you are operating at a deficit. Your brain is foggy, your energy is low, your body is basically running on fumes. And a lot of people mistake that feeling for hunger or tiredness when it is actually dehydration. So the first thing I do after I make my bed is I go to the kitchen and I drink a full glass of water. I try to get about 32 ounces in during that first hour buffer period, and I cannot tell you how much better I feel. My brain wakes up faster, my body feels more energized, my mood is better. Honestly, I think drinking water in the morning is more effective than coffee for waking you up. Try it for a week, drink a big glass of water before you drink anything else, and see how you feel. I think you will be surprised. Now, habit number 5, and this one is close to my heart. I journal every morning. I have been journaling for almost 10 years now, and it is probably the single most important habit I have for my mental health and my clarity of mind. But here's the thing, I do not journal. Like some poetic writer, I do not write long essays about my feelings. I spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes in the morning just writing down whatever is on my mind. Sometimes I write about things that are bothering me. Sometimes I write about goals I want to accomplish. Sometimes I write about what I am grateful for. It changes depending on what phase of life I am in. Right now, I am in a phase where I write down things that I want to improve about myself. Like 3 months ago, I noticed that my knee was hurting when I ran. So I wrote that down and I started tracking it. Every morning, I would write a note about how my knee felt, and over time, I could see the progress. That simple act of writing something down makes it real. It takes it out of your head and puts it on paper where you can actually look at it and deal with it. And I think in today's world, we sweep so many things under the rug. We have all these little stresses and anxieties that we never actually address. They just pile up in the back of our minds until we wake up one day feeling overwhelmed and we do not even know why. Journaling helps you identify those things. It helps you see what is actually bothering you. And once you see it, you can deal with it. So I keep a journal on my nightstand. When I wake up, I make my bed, I drink my water, and then I sit down for 2 minutes and write. That is it. Nothing fancy, and if you have never journaled before, my advice is to start simple. Just write one sentence, write how you feel, write one thing you want to get done that day, write one thing you are grateful for. Just start, because over time that small habit compounds and becomes something really powerful. I can go back and read journals from years ago and see exactly what I was thinking, what I was worried about, what I was working on. It is like a time machine for your brain. And I know when I am 80 years old, I am going to have boxes and boxes of journals, and I am going to sit there and read through them and remember my life in a way that most people never get to. That is special, so start journaling, even if it is just 2 minutes a day. All right, the last habit I want to share, and I will keep this one short because everyone has different preferences here, is getting outside for a few minutes of quiet. I am not a morning exercise person. I know a lot of people love to work out first thing in the morning, and that is great for them. But that is not me. I prefer to exercise later in the afternoon. But what I do like to do is step outside for 10 or 15 minutes. I sit on my porch or I stand in my backyard and I just breathe. I do not look at my phone. I do not listen to a podcast. I just exist outside for a little while. And I think there is something really grounding about that. It reminds you that the world is bigger than your to-do list. It reminds you that you are a human being, not a human doing. And in a world that is constantly trying to grab your attention and pull you in a million different directions, that quiet time outside is like a reset button for your brain. So to sum it all up, here is what my morning looks like. I wake up at the same time every day. I make my bed. I drink a big glass of water. I journal for 2 minutes. I step outside for a little quiet time. And then I start my day. That is it. Nothing crazy. Nothing extreme. Just a few simple habits that help me start my day from a place of calm and control instead of chaos and panic. And I have to say my life has changed because of it. I am more productive, I am happier, I am healthier, and I feel like I have more control over my life. Look, I am not perfect. There are days when I sleep through my alarm. Days when I am in a rush and I skip half of these habits. That is okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to show up most days and do the best you can. If you try to do all of these every single day from tomorrow, you are going to burn out in a week. Start small, pick one habit, maybe just start making your bed, or just drink water first thing in the morning. Do that for a month until it becomes automatic, then add another one, build slowly. That is how real change happens. If this video was helpful to you, please drop a like and subscribe if you have not already, and I would love to hear from you. What does your morning routine look like? Do you have any habits that have changed your life? Drop them in the comments. I am always looking for new ideas to make my mornings better. Thanks for watching. Peace.